Hey, hi, hello, everyone. Tonight's discussion is going to be a very important discussion. I think it's a discussion that we all should be a part of. And if you are tuning in with us live tonight, please let us know where you're watching in from. Hashtag live. And also, most importantly, share this far and wide so more mom CEOs are able to get in on this discussion and tap in with any questions or concerns that they may have as well. So, how's everyone doing tonight? I hope you're all having a great Tuesday, a great start to your week. Before we initially get started, I have a few things that I want to touch base on. Now, if any of you ladies have been experiencing posting content online, you're not receiving any sales. You get a lot of likes, you may get a lot of shares, engagement. People comment every now and again saying, "Wow, amazing, great post. Thank you for sharing this information." But afterwards, crickets. We don't get any sales. We don't get anyone tapping into our website, the link that we shared, or even joining any memberships or getting in on the offers that we have taken time to create and help serve our audience, right? So it's imperative that we understand one, the psychology of it all. Two, how we can get around it. Three, how we can connect more with our audience in a way that our audience can see themselves in our content, resonate, and then take action. Before we begin, I would like to let you all know why unmuted and unfiltered business panels for mom CEOs was started. I think it's a great thing to build a community or support sisterhood for women who are struggling in business. And more so than not, there are moms out there who have other responsibilities who find it incredibly hard to make time to be consistent, to show up. They may not have the bandwidth to sustain showing up on a regular basis or engaging with new people. They may be introverts and struggle with networking with other people. This conversation taps in on a lot of pain points we mom in business struggle with. And with the strategies and tools that we share with you all, I'm hoping that this community will make it so much easier for you to step up, step out, and be the mom entrepreneur that you so wish to be. Okay. If God put it in you, so shall it be. Before we begin tonight, I want to give my amazing panelists an opportunity to introduce themselves, share with you what they're bringing to tonight's discussion, and I want you all to give them a warm welcome. So, first and foremost, let me introduce T, my amazing sister who is online with us. T, please introduce yourself to the women who are watching us tonight. Let us know who you are and what you're bringing to tonight's discussion.
All right. I'm T. I'm a spiritual transformation coach. I specialize in self love, human design, and nervous system regulation. My entire business is surrounded around helping women break through self doubt, regulate their nervous system, build lives and businesses that actually align with who they are instead of who they think they should be or who they were told to be. So, the perspective that I'm bringing tonight is human design, which is it's about 40-ish years old, but it's still really new to everybody. And while there's all these amazing strategies for content creation and marketing and sales, I'm more interested in what happens beneath the strategy because sometimes like the reason we struggle with conversion is not so much that we're doing things wrong, it's just that we're trying to build a business in a way that doesn't honor the natural design of our energy flow, the way we communicate, the way we make decisions, the way we connect with others. I'm going to be digging into that a little bit tonight.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, T, and sharing that. That's a great perspective that you're bringing tonight. And I can't wait for the ladies and myself to dig a little bit deeper and get the conversation flowing. Thank you again, sis.
Thank
Next,
you.
we have an amazing panelist with us tonight, Miss Adalia. If you could please introduce yourself to the women who are watching tonight. Let us know who you are and what you're bringing to tonight's discussion.
Okay, so I have a type A personality, so I do have to read. So my name is Adalja. I also go by Mixed D. It is an adopted personality from a previous podcast. So I have kind of stayed with that. So with the podcast spinoff that I am now doing, it is called Legacy Garden Pods. And it has been established based off the working mom going through transitions. Starting from my business that started as a baby and now I have an adult children. So through that process, that's how I was able to establish what that looks like. And then through the Legacy Garden, I decided that I was not at the capacity that I wanted to be. So I sat down, got some research done, and I had to establish a system. The system is what works for type A personalities, right? So as that started to grow and flourish, I am now in about year 10 in the framework. And it is more so an emotional support system. It is a spiritual led. So I am a Christian. So I do start with faith first. And that was my journey throughout, building my legacy and implanting those seeds into flourishing. And my message does start with the Proverbs 31 woman, but I like to go in depth with the Proverbs 31:16, where we are talking about actually seeding a successful business. And that is the business perspective that I turned into. And now I am now in another step of my life, and I am now a content creator in my 40s. That's so weird because I'm like, okay, let's try this out. And then based off of like how life changes, I have now also established a mindset that God is my algorithm. So I always tend to change in according to his calling for myself. So that's my perspective is that I do start with faith-based idealistic persona. So that's me. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here, sis, and sharing that about yourself and what you're bringing. I too began with faith as well. So we do have that in common. And I want to hear more about your perspective on that as well, how we can tap into that when we are running our businesses. Thank you again for sharing. All right, ladies, for those of you who are new to me, I am Tammy, your faithful sister here in Christ. And my last name is Maynard, and I am the founder of the Unmuted CEO. I am a confidence and visibility coach for women entrepreneurs, and my entire mission is helping women get seen, get heard, and get paid without shrinking yourself to do so. I am a wife. I'm a mother of six, including twins. I built this brand because I know what it feels like to have something powerful, all right, inside of you and still hold back from sharing it with the world. Somewhere along the way, I did decide that I was done with being quiet. It was time for me to speak up. And I know that there are women who have been through what I've been through and also going through what I'm currently going through. And so now I help other women show up, shine bright, and lead with confidence. You can find me and everything that I am building with the Unmuted CEO on pretty much every platform out here on social media. And I will definitely share my links and information at the end of tonight's discussion. But right now, we got work to do. Okay? We got work to do. So tonight's discussion, why people like your post and do not buy? Because it's happening to all of us. I know there are a lot of people out here who've been in business for years and they have a lot of experience under their belt, but they too share posts that, they get people to comment or like, but they don't tap into what they're offering. All right. You post, you get hearts, you get fire emojis, you get this is so good, sis. But after that, you get crickets, right? Nothing else happens. Nothing continues after the post. And you wonder, what can you actually do about it, right? There's no theory. Okay. Tonight's discussion is going to be completely real. We're going to be talking from experience and we're going to talk about how you can navigate this. Now, what to expect from tonight? Tonight's discussion is going to be about an hour to 90 minutes long. We're going to start with introductions that already happened, okay? We're going to go ahead and lead with questions so that we could help you understand how to navigate through these pain points. The first question that I would like to start with is, why is this happening? Okay. The goal is to understand and diagnose the problem itself. So let's go ahead and start. Sisters, let's ask, why do you think this is happening to many of us? Go ahead, you can answer.
So my feeling to why I believe it's happening to many of us is what I've noticed. I'm looking at the lens of a consumer. So if I don't know what you're selling, one, two, I don't know what you want me to do, two, then I'm lost. And at that point, I'm going to go find someone else that could answer that question for me. And then I also believe in the fact that I don't typically buy from people I don't know or trust or even love, but that is what the community building, the giving the value first happens because sometimes we lead with, I need to make this money now. So I'm just going to give you my sales pitch now. And I don't even know who you really are at that moment.
Yes, I definitely can resonate with that. I think it does lead with a trust problem. When a lot of people are sharing content, we're like, okay, we have never seen you before. All right, do you show up consistently? Are you sharing this offer or you're sharing what you're talking about more than once? A lot of us think that we can share one time and everyone sees our post. No, that's not the case. Unfortunately, with social media, when you share online, only a certain percentage, and I would say on Facebook, only about 5% of your followers will see your content. And it's up to us to consistently post regularly. You don't have to share the same post, like copy and paste verbatim. You can reword it, tweak it a bit to make it sound more captivating. But ultimately, if you're not sharing your content enough for people to see, they just won't see it. They won't have the opportunity to see it. And also with me, what leads me to buy is, do I understand what it is that you're offering? Okay. If you're not speaking with clarity, if it's not clearly stated what you're offering, if you're just sharing a post that says, buy my dress, I have 25% off right now. Okay. Well, what's special about the dress? What material is it made of? Where did it come from? How long is it? Where can I wear this dress? Like, give me some idea of it. And even not just with dresses, even with memberships and ebooks and any other digital product that you may offer. Give us some context about why you created the individual product, how it will help solve the problem that I'm going through. A lot of people don't really care about you initially, as cold as it may sound. They really want to know how you can help them. So if I'm looking at your product and I don't really understand how it can solve my product problem or how it can make me feel confident or beautiful, I'm scrolling right past. T, did you have anything to offer to that? Okay. So the next follow-up question that I have is do you think the people who engage are even the right buyers? Or are they a different audience altogether?
Sorry, I couldn't get my mic on.
No worries, sis.
I was struggling trying to get the mic button to pop up. I think, well, for one, consumers will be consumers. So there's a lot of people online who just like to consume. They like to scroll through and click the thing and like the thing and comment on the thing. And I think that's like one of the most important social media strategies I learned is called stir the pot. And it's like every day when you get on, like before you make your first post, go through and find like followers that you don't normally see and like comment on something of theirs. So then when they comment back, Facebook makes the connection like, oh, y'all are friends. So as soon as you post, those are going to be the people that it shows your stuff to instead of these like same people who are obviously not interested. That definitely helps a lot. And as for the last question, I was trying to get my mic on so I could answer that. I think a lot of that, like a lot of what y'all were saying, it can be related so much to human design and how our energy flows and just knowing how you are designed to respond to things because that's when you can step into your authenticity, like people feel that, and I'll try to like go into later like the different human design types for each person and how they work. But people can feel that authenticity. They can feel that excitement. I know for years, oh my gosh, I have had so many businesses. It is not even funny. And the longest one I probably stuck with was selling paparazzi jewelry. And I love the jewelry, but I hated sales. And I did all the things that all the leaders told me to do. I even did a 90-day live run one time. I went live 90 days straight. And the only thing I learned from that is that I hate sales. And, I was just like trying to force it. And to finally, I was just like, I cannot do this anymore. Like, this is not me. And a lot of people don't get that, especially like when they're trying to like bring you into their company. I'm just like, no, like it, I'm what's called a generator type in human design. So like if it doesn't light a fire in me, I can't do it. Like I just can't. I'm gonna burn out almost instantly. And so like really like understanding that energy flow and being authentic in whatever it is you're offering and showing up with like pure authenticity, not like trying to be like this person or how you think you should be or whatever. Like show up messy, scared, shaky, like whatever. Just get it out there. And people tend to flock to that. They're like, I don't know what she's selling, but I kind of like her.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. What I do want to announce, ladies, is that we do have an additional panelist tonight. And I do want to apologize. Lima, I didn't see you, sis. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, I would love you to join our discussion, sweetheart. If you could please introduce yourself to the ladies who are watching us and so gracefully let us know what you're bringing to tonight's discussion.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So my name is Lima McLean. I'm a real estate investor. I've been buying and selling real estate for years. I'm an event host. I work with speakers from all over the world, business owners, helping them to get onto stages, helping them to build authority online through media, publications, different types of avenues. I have a platform that I created since I started my online journey 3 years ago. It's called the Elite Speaker Society. And we put, opportunities for business owners and speakers to get onto TV, radio, podcasts, international events, speaking on stages, in-person events, domestically, speaking. So we put it together, to help, business owners to really get themselves out there. That's my goal. That's my purpose. So to help you boost, revenue in your business, help you boost your clientele. So, live the life that you want to live. Right now, my daughter just graduated high school and we were out swimming and so I just hopped on here to do this right quick and then I'm gonna jump back in the pool with them.
Hey,
So
that's patience, sis. I do appreciate you taking the time out to be here and speak with us, ladies, and share in your insight and perspective on tonight's discussion. Is very important as for being a business owner. And I want to see or listen to everyone's side of it. And also, with the experience that each of you have, I want to know your take and how the ladies watching can navigate through these challenges and be able to carry on moving forward. So, thank you again for being here. And I do sincerely apologize. I didn't see you initially.
no problem. Yeah, that happens with Zoom. I know how it is. So that's why,
Yeah,
it happens.
I'm so happy to see your beautiful face. Thank you again for being here. And yeah, did you have any insight to share to the other questions that I asked initially?
I guess nothing so far.
Okay. Okay. No worries. So I do have a follow-up question as to why do we think this is happening, as to why we think people are just liking our posts and not buying or moving towards our call to action. The last follow-up question I have is have you personally experienced this yourself? And what did you think was happening before you figured it out? I can go first. I would say I definitely have experienced this. And just because I've been an entrepreneur for a certain amount of years does not mean that I will not experience this at all. It just means that I do have experience as to how I can navigate through these type of challenges without letting it affect me personally. I know in the beginning when it happened, I couldn't understand why I would get hearts and things like that from friends and family, but I couldn't really understand why they wouldn't tap into the offer that I was offering or buying what I was selling. And then later I learned that not necessarily everyone you're speaking to is your targeted audience. That was one of the main things that I had to learn. Just because they're your family, your friends, or just because you're speaking to the masses doesn't necessarily mean the masses will respond in the way that you expect them to. So it was for me to understand how I could create content that my audience particularly resonates with and see themselves in. Once I did that, that opened up a window to where I could get more feedback as to what exactly they needed from me. And I started creating content towards how they needed to be helped as opposed to what I thought they needed. So understanding what my audiences needed, what my audience per se needed in particular, really, really helped me hone in on how to craft my content in a way that gets me more responses to the offers that I created.
So I kind of want to follow up on that. I have a business background, so we had to go through class, the psychology of selling. I'm very much like Miss T. I did not like it, but I did like the psychology part. And then of course there's the communication. And typically how I connect the two is that since I speak Spanish, I do speak Spanish. And if someone doesn't understand what I'm saying, then they're not going to get the message clearly. But if I am speaking to someone that speaks Spanish, then our message will be aligned. So that's how I see it. Like I need to know what or how does my client or customer speak? Like what language do they speak, right? Are they right now are they going through mommy guilt, right? So then it's like I need to speak to that. Or if someone's going through how do I make $1,000 and I'm not saying that you can do that, but $1,000 in 2 minutes, then this is how I need to speak to you. So I need to know what language to speak towards you. How do I communicate? So I always go back to like, is my message clear? So that's how I would go in regards to what you're also saying is that you have to know who your target audience is and how do they speak or what language do they speak, I should say.
Right. I really resonate with that as well. Great point. T or Lima, did you want to add anything to that? Okay.
Yeah, I would like to say something. So, yeah, definitely you have to make sure that your messaging is key too. Like your and I think that's what everyone was saying too. Like, your messaging is key, and then the messaging and targeting, the right people. I remember when I started online 3 years ago, it was hard because I didn't really know all of this, and I didn't have the family account, with the family and friends and all that. I literally started an account with people I did not know. I just started building followers, business owners, and all that, and I didn't know any of them, and so I had to start really from the messaging standpoint, to start getting the people in. So I wasn't even able to get the likes and the hearts that you're talking about because no one knew me. So I didn't have, that to go off of, but I do see it now with the likes and the hearts on a lot of posts. Someone posts and they get like 100, 200 likes and hearts, but they're not buying. And that is a serious problem. And I was like, I'm glad I didn't have to do that part. I actually skipped over it because I didn't start off with the people that knew me. I started out with people that didn't know me and I just went from there. And then when I started tweaking the messaging, people started buying because I was doing, putting posts out there with that's reaching them through the message that I was giving them, you know? I mean, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It definitely
Yeah.
does. I'm glad. One thing that I did notice too, with it being 2026, we have to also understand that the way things are going now on social media it's not working the same way it did in the past. So a lot of us, we kind of got that motivational boost from seeing hearts and thumbs up and, all of that. And it really made us feel like, wow, I'm really doing something. But now social media is not really tracking the amount of hearts that we're getting these days. The only thing that they're really focused on, especially on Facebook, is are you getting comments? Are you building community? Are you connecting? Are you building a relationship? Are you getting shares? These are the type of things that are driving your content and will boost your content in the algorithm. So the more we learn how to resonate with our audience, or the more we learn how to speak our audience's language, like Dahlia was saying, the better that it will come. So you don't want to create content that literally, let me try to give you an example. A lot of us like to be on live, for instance. Well, I'm not going to say a lot. Let me take that back. Some of us will be on live and we'll create content talking to our audience, and we are wondering why are people not staying? They'll tune in and then they'll leave, or they might not get anybody to watch their live at all. Well, you have to ask yourself your question. One, are you creating content that your audience can respond to? Okay. Are you creating content that your audience can actually feel like they relate to? Or are you just creating content people can sit and watch? Because if you're creating content that people can sit and watch, then of course you're going to get people to scroll past because you're not giving them anything to do. But if you are creating content where your audience literally can engage with you, you're connecting with them, you're talking to them, you're getting them to introduce them. Now, some people get intimidated when they just stop on your live and you be like, hey, so and so, thank you so much for tapping in. Them like, snap, I didn't know you could see me. And they'll keep scrolling. I've done that too in the past. But people who come into your live and they comment and they speak to you, show them that they are seen. Okay. That bridges the gap between you and your audience, that leaves them feeling some type of connection. Okay. They're like, okay, they saw me. Let me see what else that they be talking about. Because I've never seen her. I've never sat in her live before. Let me see what else she shares. So that will entice them to go to your profile, look at what you're sharing. And if it's anything that they don't really understand, if you're not clear, you're not speaking with clarity, they're not going to tap into anything in the future. So you really need to understand how to speak to your audience in a way that they could feel themselves in your content. So if you don't really understand what to say, that's where you need to build a target avatar. This helps me. And I learned this I started business in 2020. And I didn't really learn more about a target avatar until 2021, where I needed to hone in and figure out, okay, who this person is. My target avatar is not a bunch of individual people. It's one specific person that I'm speaking to, but they're collective, okay? One specific person you're speaking to who may be feeling the same pain points or struggling with the same issues. When you understand their language, that will make it so much easier for you to craft content for that particular person. And we like to think of things that we think our audience needs, but we need to figure out what exactly that they really do need and create content or products around them, if that makes sense. Did y'all want to add anything to that? All right, ladies. So our next question we have.
Can I add something to that before you so you say that? I'm sorry.
Go ahead, sweetheart. I'm sorry.
About that. I like what you were saying because what I've been doing too is with that, like you saying, I haven't even gone live yet. I've never gone live, and I've always, admired the people that go live. But I've been posting and I've been talking to the people in the DMs. That's been my thing because I'm an introvert. Like I really don't. I'm on this call right now. I'm making myself sit here on the call because I literally have to do that. So I've been online, and since I've been online for the last 3 years, all of the money I've made, 5 and 6 figure months, like all the time, it's been through the DMs. I haven't been on any lives at all, and I don't go live in the communities that I have on the thing. So, and I'm like, okay, when are you going to go live? Like, what's wrong with you? But I really haven't had to go live. So, and but I want to though, and because you said all of this, I'm gonna start going live. So I want to say that because everyone can hold me accountable that I'm gonna start going live. So I think that's good. And I've only been doing this on Facebook. I haven't been doing any other platforms. So I'm on there, but not active, but just Facebook. So, I just wanted to say that
Yeah.
because, you know,
Congratulations.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Look, Lima, I just want to take a pause and congratulate you for wanting to take that step. That is a big step, especially for introverts. We are so comfortable in our bubbles. I'm an introverted extrovert. I feel more comfortable in my own lane, in my own bubble, but I know I have to do things to step outside of my comfort zone in order for me to grow. So, with you acknowledging that, that's a big step. And I don't want you to ever say you've never gone live. Why? Because you are literally live right now. So don't say you've never gone live before. You can say I've never gone live in my group or on my Facebook profile, but you have gone live. You're literally live right now. And you are doing a beautiful job. You're showing up. And one of the things that I want people who've never gone live to understand is once you go live, it doesn't mean you have to be on there for a long period of time. What will help is you get you some bullet points so you don't worry about going off topic. You can stay on topic, write you 2 or 3 bullet points, say what you need to say, and then hop off. And do that continuously until you are comfortable enough with pressing that live button. But I do want you to challenge yourself initially going live at least once a week, even if it's just for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. Make yourself comfortable with doing that. Why? Is because social media favors live content, video content. And I understand you was making sales and DMs, and that's great because there are people who are not even doing that. But going live will open you up to a lot more people, a lot more new people to understand what you are, and you can bring them into your world that way. Always create a live and have some sort of call to action in your live, inviting them somewhere where or telling them to take some sort of action. I don't want you to miss out on that opportunity because when we're on social media and we create content, a lot of the times we forget. Well, I'm not gonna say a lot of the time. Some of the time we do forget to end with call to action. We like to assume that our audience knows what to do after they read our content or see our videos. But think of and look, my audience, you watching ladies, no offense, but I want you to think like you're speaking to a 5th grader. Explain to them verbatim what you want them to do so that it will be clear. Like you got 10-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 12-year-olds. Speak like you're speaking to them. They need to know step by step what to do, even if you think that they're adults. A lot of them probably have other things going on at the time. So speaking to them, letting them know what action you want them to take at the end, explain your content clearly. That will get you way more people taking action than just creating a post and then ending it, going live and then hopping off. At the end, thank you so much for watching. If you're interested, join my community, Unmuted and Seen. I would love to welcome you there, so that you can get more in on what we're doing, challenges. You know how that goes, just flow it in naturally. Be yourself. But girl, yes, congratulations, Lima. I am so excited for you. I can't wait to see you live, girl. I can't wait to see you live. So, oh yeah, my next question was, what do we actually do about this? Okay. What does a content strategy look like that can actually design to convert, not just get likes? So, what do you want to add towards that question?
So, hi again. So, what I do, since I have I don't want to say the profession background, but because I have that type A personality, I have to go through a system because I don't want to stray off or waste anyone's time. But my sales process is different from how I create community. So once, I create that community, I nurture my avatars with how you describe it. And then from that moment, we're still building that rapport. And then now, since they are now my client or my prospect, I have now direct contact to you. So whether it's through the DM or if it's through an email capture, or even if it's in the comments, sometimes the comments underneath, they'll ask those questions. And because they're asking a question, you could, whatever service you do have, that is how you answer that. You answer that question by the service you have. And then that's how you nurture through that comment. Or if you're having a DM, hey, DM me this word, this is how you answer based off that. Or if you want to get a lead magnet and send them off through your email capture. Through that process, depending on where it's at, then I have another layer, and then I'll have like your funnel. So if it's something that's for free, give it to them. If they stop there, do a follow up. Is there anything else that I can do for you? You don't have to sell again. You're still building that rapport. I am not a big mundane person where it's like, "Bye, bye, bye." It's, "How else can I help you?" And then from that moment, that is how you get that, reoccurring customer, right? The one that's like, "Oh, you're going live? Oh, I'm gonna follow you. Well, you know what? I know this person that's served a purpose in my life." Now there's that word of mouth. Now you have now you're building on to that community. And that's how I see it. I'd rather nurture one person that will love and trust on me, and I can do that back as I provide value, they provide value back and forth. It's an even exchange versus someone that's just gonna like my stuff and then kind of move on, and I'll never see them again, or I'll capture their email. They don't respond to that. We all have limited time frames as moms, right? So it's like I don't want to necessarily spend so much time on someone that either I can't help or they don't see any value either way. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it ends there, because there could be another day that you're doing another content series. And that's another thing I want to talk about. If you're doing another series, maybe that is that conversation that didn't get anywhere, that sales that you were looking for from that one person, you can now make content specifically for that person, follow that person back up and like, look, this is what I have to offer if you're interested. And I don't do that more than 3 times. After the third time, I just kind of let that be where it's supposed to be at, because I am God led, faith led. So if that's not for me, that's not for me. And I have to be okay with that. So I'd rather keep that one person, nurture that one relationship, and then have that even exchange. Thank you very much for, investing in me, and I want to invest back in you. And then, sometimes, hey, let's go get some coffee, anything like that. So that's my process of making sure that if I do want that person to buy from me, I have to go through that process, and then close out. You also have to have a good closeout because you don't want it to be open. So that is, hopefully that made a little bit more sense, but I do want to go in depth to what that looks like. If you're interested, I'm gonna put my little plug. If you're interested, we can kind of talk offline as well off that.
But look, sis, I want you to tap into that as well, explaining the differences between, because I like where you were leading with that, the closeout and leaving open. Explain a little bit, shed a little bit more insight on why that's important.
Sure. Yes, ma'am. So someone that, let's say, I'm going to start with someone that is not going to buy from me, because that's the relationship that you're going to have. Either you can have in your back pocket. So there's my 3-step process. So I go through, of course, building that rapport, trying to get either that DM, that comment, or an email, and I sell through there. It's a lot. I don't want to say a lot easier, but it's easier to sell through there than it is to sell through, in front of everybody else. If I'm noticing that that's not working, but I still have their email, or they'll let me, sometimes certain platforms let you DM only if they approve it. So now I have that thread with them. And then I either have their email for another opportunity. And then the comment is going to stay on wherever platform you're using. So that helps you 3 different ways, whether you see it or not. If you are in the content world, you understand that those comments, they do help. That engagement does help. And then, so that's how I would close out if they don't want to buy from me. So that is still technically, it's open but closed. Hopefully that makes sense. And then when it's someone that does buy from me, that would be the person or the opportunity where, as you are building that rapport, you're building community through that, they typically will buy from you again. So with that, that is still a closeout on your first initial, but you want to keep that relationship open. So that's what I mean by open and close.
Right,
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
I like that. Thank you for expanding on that. I just want to make sure that people do understand the differences between the two. And
Mhm.
you are creating offers, this is where you're leading. Okay. If you close it, you got it. If you're leaving it open, you don't. So, okay. Anybody else want to add to that?
Yeah, I would like to add to that. I love how you were talking about the lead magnets, Dahlia, and once they buy from you, they'll buy from you again. I have to say that, the people that I work with them, like I've been working with them since I've been online. So, the call to action, which is your offer, always making offers. Like when I'm talking to people, I'm always making offers. Like some people say don't make offers, but I'm always doing it. It's just natural to me. So I'm a real estate investor, so I'm always giving value, and I'm here to serve. So if I'm not making offers, then I'm not serving, and I'm always creating offers that's going to serve, the people, the community, something that's going to help them, lift them up, their personal life, their business, their family, so that they can have the life that they really desire. So with the lead magnets, and literally right now, we're putting together lead magnets for $150. That's crazy because these lead magnets, they cost a lot. So we do that. We do a lot of those. We help you refine your offer and get your lead magnets together. We do this for business owners and speakers all the time. And I've been doing this in the DMs and it works. And so once someone gets a free offer from you and they get that transformation, that win, that quick win, then it goes to the next step. They're ready for what's happening next. And then they're going to buy from there. I've gone from free offers all the way up to having someone sign up for my $30,000 program, my $100,000 program. So you can take it how far as you want it to go. Signing up for subscriptions that I have, and it works because people wanna get to know you, and that's the way that they get to know you. And so we do the lead magnets, we do the email sequencing for those, the nurturing, everything. We help everyone with that because I wanna see everyone win. I wanna see everyone, building that revenue and having a life you really desire. So I've had that experience, and so doing this, and that's why I wanted to say it does work. I agree with what you said, Dahlia.
Yeah, I like to bring some human design perspective to the content creation because when we're putting out content, like when we're going with our natural flow, our natural authenticity. So there's 5 human design types. There's generators, manifestors, manifesting generators, projectors, and reflectors. So if you're a generator, people are going to convert because they feel your genuine enthusiasm. So if you're posting just because you're like, oh my gosh, I got to post today, I need to put something out, it's not going to hit the same as if it's a piece of content that lights you up because people can feel that. And like if you're a manifesting generator, they're like very busy. Manifesting generators, they pivot a lot. They're multi-passionate, so they usually have like a lot of different things going on at one time. And so like a good content for a manifesting generator would be like behind the scenes or, like lessons I've learned doing this, or this is my new idea, or this is what I'm trying now. And then projectors are more of like teachers. People convert because they trust their insight because they're usually very passionate about whatever it is that they're teaching and people are interested in hearing their take on it. You have those people who like, a topic comes up on social media and they tag you like, oh, what you think about this? Because they trust their insight on that. And then you have manifestors who are like the initiators. So manifestors generally need to initiate, they need to like inform people before they move. So it's basically like a manifestor's content might look like, this is what I believe about this, or this is what's about to happen. And then they go. They're not waiting for permission, or, they don't need all the likes or whatever. It's like, I'm telling you what I'm doing and now I'm doing it. Get with it or move out my way. And then reflectors, they are basically the mirrors of the world. So reflectors are what we call ultimate empaths. Their energy is, they don't have like a consistent energy flow. So they pull energy from like their environment, the people around them. And so they're the ones who are naturally gifted in things like trends and patterns. And you see like the people who put up like the green screen and they talk about what's going on, like that's what's gonna hit best with those. So like it's like so enlightening to know your energy type and to be able to work from your energy type. Like it really changes everything.
I like that. I never did think of it like that, but thank you for breaking it down. I think that's very interesting to know. Need to figure out which one I am, girl, because it
I had a question to that because that's a new
yeah.
perspective. So is it you sell to those 5 or you have to understand who you are and how you should create your content based
Yeah,
off.
it's understanding which one you are. And if you work, especially if you work with like business clients, like knowing your type as well as your business clients type, like that's just like fireworks. It's
Mm.
beautiful because then you know exactly how to help them and you know exactly how your energy works with them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that helps a lot with introverts too, because knowing who you are, or well, not just knowing who you are able to help, but knowing how you're best able to help. I think that taps into being able to create the perfect content for your audience. So being able to figure that out about yourself, like we have to do a lot of self-reflecting, people when we are business owners. Like it is not for the weak hearted at all. So knowing these different perspectives in this type of way, I like to say the psychology of business is very imperative in your success. Okay. Don't just jump into business thinking that you can just do it one way. You have to learn how to adapt and also be willing to learn and grow as you, because when you open up a business, some people don't stay the same. Like they don't share the same content, they don't continue serving the same people, they grow, they evolve. And also be willing to challenge yourself to learn more and do more, because that's only when you'll be able to grow. But girl, I need to talk with you afterwards so that you can kind of help me tap into that, because that's very interesting. I
No,
like that.
definitely.
Thank you for sharing that. Next, so we're on the section about what do we actually do about people scrolling and looking at our content, liking it, and not taking action. So, what role does your offer itself play? Could the offer be the issue rather than the content? Understanding what role do your offer play? And I think with Dahlia, she was tapping in on the lead magnets perspective. And Lima did add some insight to that as well. But do you ladies feel like knowing what role your offer play could actually help us hone in on how to stop people just from liking and not taking action?
So I am, so I'm always identifying who I am first and how I process my how I process how I think. So I grew up, my dad, he's an electrician and an engineer. So I reverse engineer my work. So if I know that I am trying to sell something, I'm building content based off of what I'm selling. And I don't keep the same, I don't want to say the same offer, but it's still the same system, it's still the same business. But my offer is different. So let's just say for the first week, I am not selling anything. I just want you to understand who I am. I want you to understand a little bit about like this, the flow, the journey through it. I want you to get to know who I am, what we do, who is this for. That also helps me analyze where my clients are or my prospects are. And then from there, I am building that relationship with those individuals because I don't need to sell to the masses because the mass won't buy. I need to sell to my audience. And I am using the word sell because I don't mean sell as in you have to purchase. I'm selling to you. I'm marketing to you because I digress, but I also believe that social media, they're missing a part. It's social media marketing. That's what social media is for. But they are also forgetting sometimes when you're creating your offer, you're forgetting the social part. And the social part is your community. So you have to break down all those point pain points and sell in perspective to that. So if you're trying to be sociable, that is me trying to build community. I'm using that part. That's what I'm selling. If it's media, then that's what you described earlier, going live. It's the pictures, like who or what does my audience typically respond to? Are they responding more to my lives? Then I possibly need to go live more. Are they responding more to my pictures? I need to just do pictures. I'm not a big fan of doing the text, but some people prefer to read. I was like, okay, so because of that, those are different things that I'm doing based off of the different. I'll do like 3 days of only social media, not selling any. I mean, sorry, the social part, just community, just giving content, not selling. Then the next 3 days would be more so. Let me focus on maybe, like you said, going live 3 times a week. Do I do that? Not all the time, but because that's not typically where my audience live. They live mostly in my reels. And if you guys are Facebookers or whatever you prefer, read your dashboard, your algorithm or whatever, please talk to that. So that's how I'm able to know what's working. So if I'm like, okay, I'm getting more response through my reels, I need to do my reels more often. And that's where I'm going to do the media part. Now, when it goes to marketing, that's the business or the business psychology behind it. How do I market my offer? Because you should be planning your week. You should know what you want. So because of that, now all this content that I created, I am now selling on, let's just say, for example, that Sunday. I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do. I'm sorry, I'm gonna do my reels and I'm gonna push all my sales on those reels on Sunday. And because of that, and I do apologize on who talked about it, but the algorithm is going to remember that those individuals that were commenting, that were liking, I need to send her reels to them. And at that moment, that shows the community. I went through all the process, I went through all the systems, and that's where I'm able to sell to them for them to buy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can understand that. I feel like with being able to understand your analytics is important. You need to, like Dahlia was just saying, go in your analytics, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever. You do have an analytic dashboard that you can review to understand where your shortcomings are, to understand where your strengths are. Being able to review that and understanding what your audiences speak to or what they're needing will help you craft better content. But as far as offers are concerned, I don't want people to be so stuck on creating, especially when you're starting out. Don't be stuck on creating multiple different offers and staying busy that way. I want you to be productive, but be productive in a way that moves the needle within your business. Creating offers, I would say maybe 2 to 3 months at a time. Hone in and getting used to selling that one specific offer will teach you a lot. And now I'm just speaking to people who are not really used to, creating different offers. Or if they're new to creating offers, they're not really making any sales or they don't really understand the psychology behind it. But understanding how to speak to your audience is one way. Understanding what your particular audience need, that's another thing. But when you create a offer towards their needs and you don't really know how to sell that offer, then you're stuck. Okay, you're speaking to what they're needing. You know how to help them, but you don't really know how to sell it. And a lot of us, including myself, we struggle with selling. I don't like selling either. But when you speak to your audience in a way that's not cringy, that's not making you feel like, oh, I'm too salesy. Every time I create content, they're speaking to the content that's more relation based, that's more entertainment based, but they're not speaking to any promotional based offers. Well, then you need to look at, well, am I creating mostly promotional content? Because if you are, a lot of people these days, they don't want to be sold to every single day. I don't want to be sold to every single day. But if you're creating content, I want you to look at it like this. And I feel like I'm saying so many things at once because I know what I'm saying, but I want to say it in a way that's comprehensible. When you create content, you need to ask yourself, is my content relational? Are they able to relate to what I'm speaking to? Are they able to be entertained? Am I educating my audience? Or am I just strictly selling to my audience? If you are creating content multiple times a day or multiple times a week that says, buy this or join me here, a lot of people are going to be turned off by that. And so when they do see you post content, they're going to scroll past because they initially know that you're not really trying to build a relationship with me. You just want my money or you're just trying to get me to buy. But when you lead with storytelling content, talk about why you initially started or created whatever offer it was. What do you see, or have you even tried out the product? Or do you have anybody who can testify that they've initially tried the product or read the ebook or looked at your lead magnet and it helped them? Okay. And if you don't have any testimonies, then you need to speak from experience. That way, people can be like, all right, I'm feeling what she's saying. I feel like she's in my head. She's speaking directly to me. When you tap into your audience that way, that will get them hooked. But they need to see you speak, not sell, but they need to see you speak in a way that they can relate to you multiple times before you offer. That's why they say it's best to create 80% of whether that's educational relation, inspiring, that type of content, and 20% promotional content. The more content that you create that focuses on building connection, building community, telling your story, and resonating with your audience, the better feedback or responses you'll get when you do share promotional content. I hope I made sense. I feel like I was trying to say a lot at once, but I hope I made sense some type
No,
of
you
way.
made sense. You made sense. You speaking to me. You speaking. You speaking my language.
Anybody else want to add to that?
Yeah, I want to add something, and I like what T was saying earlier too. To me, and what everything you just said, like it's all about. I made up in my mind like a couple of years ago. I was like, you know what? I just want to be aligned. I want to be in alignment. Once you're in alignment, that's the thing. And I want to. Once you're in alignment, it's you don't have to sell. With the people. You really don't. And I think if everyone starts to get into position themselves for alignment, and then also too, what I found too is you know, like you were talking about Dahlia, like, I'm a believer of Christ too. I'm born again believer. And I had asked God to send me clients. Like I don't like working with people I don't like. And I don't want someone to work with me if they don't like me either. So people that like me, like they're gonna buy from me. They don't want to go anywhere else. So I'm always cultivating relationships, and I don't have to sell anything. If they like me, they're gonna work with me. Like 9 times out of 10. Like my conversion rates is over 70 because I'm always, focusing on alignment and I'm focusing on who it is that, they like me and I like them. So it's like a no-brainer for them. It's a no-brainer for me and it's a win-win. And they don't care how much it is. They don't care if it's $30,000. They don't care if it's $50,000. They don't care. And they listen to me and they let me guide them. And I don't have the hassle and all that stuff either when you're in alignment. You don't have all that hassle if someone, you have some people they pay $1,000 and then they want to know where you live to knock on your back door. Like you don't want to, you know what I'm saying? So you got somebody, they're paying like 30, 40, 50,000, like and you don't even hear from them. You got to call, hey, we have a meeting. Did you forget we have supposed to be on Zoom right now? Like they trust you, they like you. They're not going to have that issue. You're not going to have it. So I love that when you were talking, that's what I feel like you were saying, T, like alignment, and that thing has worked so well for me and I have peace and I just wanted to say that because to me it's so important. I made up in my mind years ago that I'm going to create the life I want and that the most of it is having peace, and making lots of money too because I love to make money and I love money. People don't like to talk about that. They want to say they don't like money, they this and that, but I do. Not more than God though. I'm just saying. I just want to say that.
I don't know who out there saying that they don't want to. They talk about they don't want to make no money now.
I
If you
know.
get a fine, but yes, I love that too, Lima. Thank you for sharing that. That is important. I do want to also tap into what all three of you shared. A lot of things that I do want to tap into, but one thing that stood out to me is knowing first and foremost when you start with creating content, understand that social. And I think Dahlia said this: social media. You have to be social. All right. So if you're creating content and you haven't engaged with anyone. No one has seen you in a month of Sundays, or whenever somebody shares content and they're following you and you haven't engaged with them at all, they don't know you exist. Or if you tapped into them maybe once or twice, they might have forgotten you. Not saying that they don't like you, honestly might have forgotten all about you because there's so many people on social media. So it's important that before you go online, no matter what social media platform it is, engage at least 10 to 20 minutes before you share any type of content. And that boosts, like Dahlia was saying, that boosts the algorithm for you. I think Lima tapped into that as well. That boosts in the algorithm to let people know, hey, you're sharing, you're responding to my content. You've engaged with me. So as soon as they respond back to you and you starting to share your post, they're going to see your post in their feed. That's how that works. And it works both ways. You'll see their content, they'll also see your content. But it's important to be social on social media and don't just like. Share something genuine on someone's content. I'm guilty of that sometimes because I do a lot online. And some people be like, okay, Tammy online, but she ain't engaging. I'm online, but I'm doing a lot. I'm doing research, I'm digging in, I'm networking, I'm building stuff. It's a lot of stuff that I'm doing. But before I do create content, I try to engage first before I share anything. Because one, I be strategic with everything that I do. That's also important. So being strategic in that way, the people that you're connecting with or want to connect with, they'll see the content that you're sharing, especially people that you want to buy from you. Get used to speaking to people in their DMs. You build a closer connection with them in their DMs as opposed to just speaking to them in comments. Because in comments, the conversations can be vague. I'm going to be honest. They can be real dry. You know, how's the weather? Sunny. Bye. That's it. But when you're in the DMs, you can go much deeper than that. Hey, I'm a mama 6. I got 4 boys, 2 girls. Oh, I'm a mama 6 too. I got 5 girls, 1 boy. You know, and the conversation goes deeper. Well, what have you been doing? I've been building this. Oh, I've been doing this. And next thing you know, you can either collaborate or make a sale. You never know. But it's important to be social on social media. That's what I wanted to share. And each of you have spread some type of insight on that. And I wanted to speak to that before we did end tonight. Because if you're just creating posts and then you're ghosting, you're not going to get any engagement or any sales that way either. That's not a good strategy. It might have worked back in 2015, but it doesn't work in 2026. Anybody want to share anything?
Yes, I had something that you said before you went into, giving everybody their flowers. I want to give you your flowers too. So I believe it was Miss Lima. So and I'm going back to what you said about collaboration. So that's actually how I also have been building through brands is the collaboration post. So that is also a great place to build community, long lasting contracts. But to go back to starting off into collaborating, that you can go live with someone else and then you guys can speak upon something. So then you're not by yourself because I also am not a big fan of going live, but I did go live with someone else and I felt so much more comfortable because it felt like I was talking to someone. I mean, of course you see the people at the bottom, but it's a little bit, I don't, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not as rock hard. It's not like, oh my gosh, I got to answer this. And then I'm like distracted because I'm trying to teach something, but I'm like, oh, what's going on down here? And then if we all are mothers, right? So we have employees. So get your employee to be your moderator. I have an 18-year-old and I have a 15-year-old. So I'll get them to be my moderator if I am trying to go live. And if I'm, like I said, sometimes I'm not even selling, I'm just going live just to say hi. Some days I'm really just, it's not really intentional. It's just, let me just come on here. And like, if I am doing that, then I don't need the moderator. But if I'm trying to do a decent live, and then maybe if I do decide I want to sell, then that's a day that I'm going to tell one my daughter, hey, you want to make some money? Can you be my mod? So those are another way that I have definitely utilized my broke best friends. So I put them on the payroll. So yeah, so I do appreciate you, Miss Tammy, and everyone else as well.
Well, definitely.
I learned a lot. Thank you.
I love you sharing that. I like to bring that to light. When you're a mom and you have older kids, find a way to have them help you. Okay. When we try to compare ourselves to people who have teams and multiple people helping them, but we know we ain't got the funds right now. Some of us don't have the funds to grow a team or to pay or hire a team. Use your broke best friends. Use your kids to come in and moderate for you. I have a 15 and 14-year-old and they love when I go live and they be sitting right here like they watching me right now. They sit every time and watch me live. And I look at it as a way that inspires them to, build something themselves. And it teaches them how they can go live and talk to their audience or collaborate and build something. So when you do go live, don't fret about pausing just to read comments and what people are saying because that's your way of interacting with other people who are tuning into you and giving time to make sure that the people who are tuning into you are seen. That's important. So it's let me just say let me pause for a moment and see if any comments have come through. I see I got a few comments. Tiffany is in the comments. And this is real time. Tiffany, shout out to you because you have literally been engaging with us all, responding. Thank you for tapping in, sis. Brittany, hey girl, hey me. Thank you for being here, sis. Thank you for engaging and connecting with us all. We got people here on Facebook. Shout out to Dee Dee. Shout out to Angel. Shout out to all of you who are tuning into us and commenting. It's okay to pause and let people know, hey, I see you. I appreciate you. I'm grateful that you're here because without you, our show can't reach multiple people. So thank you. And share that light on them too. Let them know that they're loved. It's okay. Pause for a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds. You can do that. So this is where we come to the magnificent part of the evening. Look, ladies, tonight's discussion was incredible. All right. I want to do a rapid close to tonight, but before we do that, I want to give each of my amazing panelists an opportunity to shine light on their expertise, to let you know where you can follow them after our discussions, and if they have any offers or freebies that they would like to let you all in on, share that right now. So the first person I would like to start with is Miss T. If you would please share some more light on your experience or your expertise, let the ladies know where they can follow you after tonight's discussion and if you have any offers or freebies that you would like to share.
All right. Well, as I do lots of different things, also podcast, and I'm an author as well. But as far as human design goes, if you aren't familiar with your human design type, using your birth information, you can pull that for free. There's many different places. You can also find it on my freebies page, my website at sacredwildfire.com. You can find me on pretty much all the platforms, Facebook and Instagram and TikTok at the Queen Lady T. Or actually, it's probably easier to just go sacredwildfire.com and you can find all my socials there. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube. What else is it? I'm probably there too. Pinterest, all the things. But if you're not familiar with what human design is, it's a system that was invented back in the 80s, and then like over the years of the discovery, it was blended with astrology, I Ching, and the chakra system, quantum physics, genetics, like all of these things, like built this system that is just like crazy, scary, accurate. And it basically gives you a blueprint of your design, like your energy design based on your birth information, date, location, and time. And it can shed so much insight in just who you are, why you do the things you do. Like if you have like that one habit and you just like, why am I like this? Why am I like this? Human design can shed so much light on like why you're like that. It can walk you through like the gift side versus the shadow side, so you can see like, oh, I'm struggling in this area because I'm not walking in my authentic energy flow in this area. So it's been so enlightening to learn. I do a series on TikTok and Reels called Aligned AF, and one of the series is for human design, like a basic human design one. Then I do one the human design relationship series, the parenting series, and then the next one I'll be doing is the entrepreneurship series, and it's basically explaining, kind of walking you through each design and how it works with like parenting each type of child, which was like really fun to break down, especially being a mom of six. Cause it was just like learning that I'm in a house full of generators. Then I got like this one projector who is just like, and I was just like, I had to apologize to her because I'm like, all this time I thought you were being lazy, but it's just you can't handle all of this generator energy that we putting out. Like we're literally burning you out. Like I'm so sorry. So it's really fun to see how you relate to other people in certain situations, in relationships and entrepreneurship and just life in general.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for being here, T, and sharing that. Ladies, again, make sure that you tap in with T at the end of tonight's discussion. I do have a panelist review sheet that will share all of our socials and information as well as any freebies or offers that we have. And if you are interested in grabbing a copy, just comment down below, resource a panelist resource sheet, or send me a quick DM and let me know, and I'll send it straight over to you. Okay, next we have Miss Adalia. If you would please, sis, let us know a little bit more about your expertise, any information that you have as far as your offers or freebies, and where everyone can follow you.
Yes, ma'am. So a little bit about myself, my background. Actually, I'm a VP as a nonprofit for youth development. I also am now in my ministry. So I am mentoring with the First Lady currently at my church. I'm going into getting my master's in organizational leadership and my certificate in Christian counseling. So bear with it. And then I am currently I'm part membership in the Black Christian Influencers. They just had a conference this weekend. And then I also am a brand ambassador for Coffee Magazine, where she does interviews. It's an episodic interviews with the community. I do live in Illinois, but she does definitely. I'm going to put her a little plug there since I'm an ambassador. So that's what I'm currently working on. I'm also transitioning out of podcasting from Spotify to YouTube, becoming more of God is my algorithm. So I am shifting outside of, behind the scenes to now more in face forward. I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone. I've been doing that for a little bit now that I'm face forward. And I am now going through my series. I'm going to just kind of define what that is. I am going to just read it out just a little bit because I don't want to miss anything. So it's going to be really quick. So this a 7-part series based off of my framework, the STEAMS framework. Again, it started off as just being a mother and trying to navigate. So I broke down how my journey through the process of being into the entrepreneur with the perspective of being a Black Christian content creator at 40, just so hard. But that's where my system is. I do break down, like I said, the 3 different perspectives. I start faith led, so my Christian background, and then I go into my business background, and I am identifying as a UGC content creator based off of the contracts that I have gained working with brands. And then I also am looking at it as of course, a mompreneur. So that's a perspective of more lifestyle. So I'm embedding my teenagers. It's so hard, but they are now on board with me as well. So it's going to be more so lifestyle, family content. So we're kind of dipping and dabbing into that. So that's what I am currently attaining. So I am now establishing on YouTube, and you can find me at Legacy Garden Pots. And then that's where I'm at right now. So please pray for me, into the new world of YouTube. So thank you.
Yes, congratulations on that, sis. I hope all great things come your way. And I do love that God is my algorithm. That is beautiful. I've never heard that terminology before, but I do love how you put that. And that's one that we all should live by. God is definitely our algorithm and the only one that we should care about. Thank you so much for being here, sis, and sharing that with us. Next, we have Miss Lima. If you will, please share more information about your expertise, how we can follow you or where we can follow you after tonight's discussion, and if you have any offers or freebies to share.
Yeah, I want to say thank you, first of all, to you, Tammy. You were one of the people that on social media that I said, "Oh, she's amazing." From day one, I started 3 years ago, and I always saw you on here doing stuff. You've always been active and very open and authentic. So I think it's awesome. So it's the pleasure being here with you today. And I like what you said, Dahlia, with God being your algorithm, because that's like, again, I said too, a lot of people, a lot of women, married, single mothers. I'm a single mother, been a single mother for over 15 years, divorced, and raising your kids and running a business is you have to have the right. It's not for the faint of heart, like Tammy was saying earlier. You have to be serious. You have to make a decision and go from there. And so God, I've always asked him to bring me clients, That's one of the things that I do. And like, I've always said I don't want to, have to struggle and hustle and I've never had to do that. That's one of the things. And I wake up every day, even before being online, but every day since I'm online with clients in my DM. they're already ready to buy. And so, when God is your algorithm, that's what happens. And so I can relate to that like 100%. And I've been living like that before I started online. And so if those of you that aren't doing that, that's one thing you can start to do. And then I like too how you were talking about legacy with your children helping you. I've always my children, in real estate investing, and everything I do online too. That's why I do what I do for them. I'm building a legacy. Those of you that know that you're called to be in business and you really want to get yourselves out there, I want you to follow me on Facebook. Go follow me. Go to www.elite speakers society with an S on there, elitespeakersociety.com. And join that speakers group because it's not just for you for speaking, it's for everything for business owners. And I can help you, get to where you want to be as far as, your revenue. You want to hit 5 and 6 figure months. You want to leave a legacy for your children. And that's what we're here for. God told us to leave a legacy for our children and our children's children. So it's our responsibility to do that. And so if you want to do that and you don't know how, and if you've already started doing that, but you're stuck and you just like, oh my goodness, I still don't know what to do, follow me, send me a DM. I'm right here. I'm not busy like everyone's, oh, I'm so busy. I'm traveling. I'm here. I have a team of people that help me. I can hop on a phone call. I can hop on a Zoom. Like I'm right here. And I have some, wonderful things that I can, give to you that's going to help you get you from where you are to where you want to be. So definitely DM me. I want to see you. I want to talk to you. So thank you, Tammy, for this opportunity.
Yes, ma'am. Amen to all of that. And thank you again for being here tonight. I want to thank each of you ladies for taking the time out of your busy day and families to shed love and light to these amazing women who are in business, who are struggling to answer a lot of questions that they have concerning their pain points. I want each of you ladies watching us tonight to make sure that you tap in, okay? Tap into each of these panelists that have spoken, that that have great perspectives and insight that they shared tonight that will definitely help lead you along your journey in business and also help you look at different things in a way that you might not have thought of because sometimes it helps you grow way more than what you already are if you just think of things outside of how you normally see things, okay? And most of us don't really know the right questions to ask or the right things to say, which is why I encourage you to tap in to these type of conversations that we have every other week. We have them, it used to be on Fridays, but we have moved them to be on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. every other week. If you're interested in becoming a panelist in the unmuted and unfiltered business panel discussions, please DM me. Just because you've been a panelist one time does not exclude you from being a panelist on future discussions. I would love to have you. And yeah, and if any of you are interested in knowing more about what it is that I'm doing, be sure to follow me at the Unmuted CEO on all major platforms. I think on Instagram is the only one that I am the unmuted dot CEO, but everywhere else, the unmuted CEO. Make sure that you join my Facebook group, Unmuted and Seen, where you can tap in on more of these conversations. Be sure to follow us on so that you too can get strategies and tools on any pain points that you're currently struggling with and beyond. All right. I want to pray that you all have an amazing evening. Thank you again for joining us tonight. And I hope you all have an amazing week. Thank you. Bye.